Yo, just before the episode starts, I have a really quick, I kind of need your help, but not so much your help, more so your opinion. Real quick. I just need to know what you guys would prefer. If you guys would prefer these shorter, like accelerated Rags to Riches videos, or more like the season one style where I sort of play and talk while playing. Those ones end up with like longer videos, but you gotta kind of experience it more with me. But here you end up with shorter videos, but you kind of like see more of what I do and like the progression is quicker and stuff. Anyways, you can just let me know down in the comments. I asked it last video, but only one person responded. Thank you to that guy. But I would like more responses. So if you guys could go down to the comments and just let me know. And while you're down there, might as well hit that subscribe button. Might as well hit that like button. Anyways, thanks, babes. Enjoy the video. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of From Rags to Riches Season 2. We're all very excited for this, and let's just get into this. So last episode we left off with 40 million, 40, not 40 million. Jesus, we'd have already beat the series. 40,000 commas. We left off with 40,000 commas, and this episode we're just going to be trying to make more, of course. And as you guys remember, I very much like the rune workshop and just rune crushing, that sort of thing. So that's probably again just going to be a big part of the series, but the fact that I'm playing on a French server actually changes things a little bit because they have a really high population and they have very high low level population. So a lot of things that wouldn't typically work on servers like Echo would work there. However, these kind of things would also work on Ilizael, so they're not completely useless to like my fan base or like you viewers or whatever. Because I know a lot of you guys are on Echo, but a lot of you also are on Ilizael and that sort of thing. This some of the lower level stuff I might end up doing some commas might not necessarily work on a server like Echo where everyone's pretty much high level, but it does work on these French servers with a lot of low levels, and it does work on like Ilizael because that also has a lot of low levels. So now, just for the start here, we're just doing some crashing. I went to the market, bought a couple runes that seemed like a little bit of a cheaper price relative to their pack size. Like if there's a 10 pack that's worth 10,000 commas, right? Then in theory, each rune should be worth 1,000 commas. But if I find that each rune's worth like 500 commas, I'll just buy a few. And I kind of looked around just to see some prices, see what's best, see what suits me. And then I started looking at recipes. As usual, I always open up the encyclopedia. I open up the encyclopedia, click the stat that I want to like target, and then I'll just kind of look for items that suit. If you guys remember how I pick items, basically you want an item with a lot of stats that are other than the stat that you have, but not. So it's kind of a balance here because you don't want really good stats. Because if you have really good stats, especially at this like low level where you want to make the most profit, like small profits but repetitively, basically you don't want an item that's too appealing. You always want to take that one item that's like, okay, sure, there's like that cool stat on it, but if you take an item that's too appealing, like I gave the example of Dragon Helmet in my crushing tutorial, I think. I made a crushing tutorial. If I think of it, I'll link it. I don't know. But I made a crushing tutorial, and in it, I gave the example of a Dragon Helmet, right? You take a Dragon Helmet, 13% resistance in all the resistances. Everyone wants resistances, so everyone's going to try and crush it. Go try crush a Dragon Helmet. Tell me what percentage you get. I swear you will not get more than 100%. Like, actually, oh, honest, okay, don't hold me to that, but you're probably not going to get it. So I just crushed some things. You can see here I get some pretty good runes, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 worth. So I put them up in market, a little bit under 10,000 actually, but they didn't cost me that much. I kind of just made back my commas. I didn't really make any profit, but then I didn't have any commas, so I decided to go and hit the field dungeon. The field dungeon was very fun. Not really in the sense that I didn't really play that much. I kind of got leashed. I didn't mean to though, because I just hit a message in the recruitment chat. I was like, "Yo, does anyone want to come do duo on this dungeon with me?" And this guy messaged me, and I'm like, "Sure, we'll do it together." And then it turns out he's like level 80 or whatever, and he just, with his sort of eye up, he just was soloing the whole dungeon. Which, whatever, sure. Do you want to leash me? Sure, I'm not going to complain. And again, it's not like I'm taking help from people, like from one of you guys. It's just someone who also happened to need the dungeon. You'll find these people everywhere all the time. So I'm not really cheating the series or anything. Also, worth noting, it was very funny because I sold the runes that I put up in market really quickly, but they don't show up because I sell them right before I start the dungeon, and then I sell the rest right after I finish the dungeon. So you won't see them in the clip, but obviously I'll be throwing up the screenshots so you can see. And since I ended up selling those, I had some commas, right? So I'm like, okay, let's, I just made back my commas. I didn't really make any profit, so I ended up trying to do more crushes. I made a couple of these, checking out resources, and I started checking out different kinds of runes. I tried this Crackler Blade, got a few critical hits, critical hit runes, and these critical hit runes are going to be critical to this episode. Hee hee. They're going to be critical to this episode, and this is basically why. I'm going to start focusing them because I realized that you can actually do really well with them. You'll see here I'm focusing a lot on these boar items. Now, you might think, oh, 5,700 commas, that's not that much to make. You just bought so many rings, or you have so many rings. But when I throw up the screenshot of how cheap they were, you'll understand why I still ended up making commas. And it's not that many, but like I still ended up making a little bit. So I crushed all these boar items, just put them up in market. Not in market, so I put them up, to crush. And I got a little bit of runes, ended up with 30,000 commas worth, which is pretty good. And they end up selling really fast, so I put them up, and I decide to level my own smith. So I go and I crush a couple more things to level up my own smith. I level up to level 45, and I focus on things that have critical hits because I want to focus on these. So I go and I craft 100 of this one cheap type of thing to craft, and then 10 of this other. I start with a 10, and I end up with 26,000 commas worth, and then I do these. So it's important to notice I put the ones with the highest pack number first. The highest pack number first because they'll have the highest coefficient for the whole of them, so I'll end up getting more. So I ended up here with 79 runes. I buy one just to complete a pack, so I have so I can sell in packs of 10. And I put these all up. I end up with 161,000 commas, and that's where we left off. Next day I wake up, and everything has sold. Well, this is not necessarily next day, and it's not necessarily when I woke up or whatever, but when I came back from work or just whatever. I log on and everything has sold, and I have 180,000 commas. This is where we're going to leave the next episode. Basically 200,000 commas. 180 is pretty close, and we're going to make some really big progress next episode, so stay tuned for that. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.